The Big Brother 27 finale just aired. We have to roast it. We have to react to it. So grab a beverage. Hopefully, you're wearing something very comfy. Smash that like, and let's get started.
If you like what you see, come and get it with me. I know you deserve all you want. Cause your heart's made of gold. But don't wait till you're old. If you want it, I get you some.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel for the Big Brother Breakdown with Joleen. That's me, stand-up comedian, former Big Brother superfan, but this season turned part-time Big Brother hater. Joleen Lunzer here. Let's start the show the only way we know how. Welcome to the Big Brother Breakdown with Joleen. Welcome to the BB Breakdown with Joleen. That's me. Hello, everyone. Happy finale night, Sunday, September 28th. We just had the finale of Big Brother 27. We did it. We did it, you guys.
I don't have any phones now.
Put a thumbs up in the live chat if you can hear my soundboard, because we are going to need it tonight, you guys. And Vince definitely didn't have any votes tonight.
I don't have any phones now.
We did it. We're at the end. Woo. Thank you, guys. Okay, it's working. We got a lot to roast, a lot to recap. I actually took notes with this finale. I thought this was a great finale. Okay, there was a couple parts I was like, we'll talk about that. But overall, Ashley wins BB27. Keanu, America's favorite player, 65%. We got to talk about that. We saw that a certain showmance is still together. Oh my God. Ooh, that's... Okay. We gotta talk about that too, you guys. And then we have the Big Brother postseason coming at us, where I'm sure more drama and things will unfold on Instagram and social media with these house guests as they learn how they really felt about one another and as they readjust in the world, which we will also be covering that, you guys. So before we get started, make sure you smash that like. Can we get 2,000 likes on a video? Is that doable, you guys? We haven't hit 2,000 likes yet this season. That would be amazing. It's a free way to support the channel. Subscribe. We are on our way to 50K. We are over 47,000, headed to 48,000. Thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed, new subscribers, old subscribers, everybody. And if you want to support the channel further, if you like what I did this season, you're welcome to send a super chat while we're live here on YouTube. I'll highlight your comment. It's a great way for me to see it. You can also hit me up on the Venmo, PayPal, Cash App. Shout out to Jan and Ariel, who recently hit me up on the Venmo. I really appreciate it. Or if you want some bonus content, some more stuff, you can join my YouTube membership or my Patreon. Links for everything are in the description of this video. Thank you, Ori Streams, coming in, gifting 10 memberships. That's amazingly kind and generous, you guys. Ori Streams, if you're not already subscribed to Ori, which you probably are, go subscribe. Go support all of the Big Brother content creators. I was in TV Talks with Tom, his pre-show live stream. There's just so many wonderful people who cover the show, and I love popping into their streams because we all have such different perspectives, and it just makes it fun, you know? So I've always enjoyed being a part of the Big Brother commentary community. So thank you, Ori, for gifting the memberships. Congratulations to those of you that got a membership. Make sure you have it checked in your YouTube settings that you are able to receive YouTube memberships, because they just pick those randomly. All right. Yes, they are awesome. Tom and Sam are awesome. There's so many Big Brother creators who are amazing, and show them all the love. All right. Matt, thank you so much for the first super chat. Matt coming in saying, if Vince could have read the card in the HOH part 2, Morgan would have won BB27 because Vince would have lost part 3. Would he have lost part 3 though? Because Morgan failed quite miserably at part 3. She was second guessing herself. I don't think Vince and Morgan, I think they were both destined to do horrible in part 3 because they haven't gotten sleep in like a month. They've been fighting and loving and then fighting again and then loving again on the live feeds. They haven't gotten sleep. Their brain is full of poison. All right, you guys, obviously Allegedly. Everything I say is true except for the parts that are false. Everything is alleged and for entertainment purposes only.
Allegedly.
So, David, so good to see you. Thank you so much for the super chat. David said, I'm so happy with all the outcomes. Thanks, Jolene, for a great season. Thank you. All of you. I wouldn't be able to do any of this if you guys didn't show up and support me. So you guys are the ones to thank. Lady Jane, thank you so much for the super chat. We won. Ashley, our first. What a story Ashley had. And then when she finally gave her Elle Woods speech, the only thing that kind of made me like, is that apparently she had told Will not to tell anyone that she was a lawyer. She wanted that to be the big reveal to the entire jury, I guess. And Hannah Chada, who is friends with her, obviously Hannah from BB23 tweeted that out, that she was disappointed that Will had shared that information about Ashley and her being an attorney to the jury. So we really only got to see, obviously, Morgan and Vince's reaction because pre-jurors already knew. And then we got to see Ava's reactions. And all of Ava's reactions are so contrived and so just like, anyways, that you're like, okay, thanks, Ava. Thanks for nothing. So I'm not sure why Will did that, but it would have been nice to get that cam on all of the jury as they're finding out that Ashley is an attorney. And I don't remember if Rachel knew, but I really wanted to see the first time. I mean, I guess we did a little bit with, we didn't see the first time with Keanu because I think they had already talked about it in jury. So that was disappointing. Josh, thank you for the super chat. Josh says Ashley's speech was chef's kiss. Really phenomenal. It was really good. It was a great speech. Rory, thank you so much for the super chats. Coming in with, I don't have any votes now.
I don't have any votes now.
We don't have any votes now. Oh my gosh. Crazy, you guys. But it almost seemed, as we've been covering the live feeds and as we've seen the journey of Morgan and Vince, it was now after last night's live feeds and Vince and Morgan again getting in fights about the Lauren situation, if Morgan was going to take him to the final two, it seemed inevitable that Ashley was going to win this third part of the HOH because Morgan's head was all over the place. She was so emotional up until, the wee hours of the morning last night. I mean, they actually went to sleep last night earlier than they had in a long time, but it was still too late for the night before the finale. And they were still up, fighting. And so it was almost as if Mr. Evil Vince sabotaged Morgan's chances, knowing she would not take him to the final two and knowing that Ashley had told him she would. So do with that what you will, Morgan, but it'll be interesting to see their journey after this. Now that Morgan also found out that Vince had final twos with like 7 different people, including Lauren. Did you guys see Morgan's face as she's sitting as the 7th juror? And they were like, Vince, which one, were you most loyal to? And he's like, I don't know, man. Yeah. Twisting his mustache. And Morgan's just like, he's like, probably Morgan and Lauren. She's like, I knew it because up until last night, you guys, the morning hours, this morning, Vince claimed to not have a final two with Lauren. This again goes to Vince's and what the jury spoke on, the unnecessary lies he told in this game. There's a point, where it's like, yes, of course you're going to lie. Certain aspects within Big Brother, there's no rule against that. But when you lie unnecessarily, whether it's in real life, whether it's in this game, and you leave people feeling that ick, that gross, when you cause them undue stress, they're not going to support you. They're not going to look at that as a good Big Brother winner, because good Big Brother winners know when to lie, when not to lie, when to win, when not to win, and so ultimately Vince's game wasn't as well balanced as Ashley. And when she stated her case, it was pretty clear, you know, and Ashley being like, I'm a lawyer at a prestigious law firm. I went to Georgetown, and Vince was like, I'm still employed, man. I'm unemployed. I mean, whoops. Ah. And everyone's like, ha, ha, ha. And poor Vince's parents. I got some screenshots of Vince's parents. Stan and Jan. Shout out to Stan and Jan in the audience tonight. Just poor Stan and Jan. Let me see if I can find them here in my... Okay, this is Morgan's parents. We had Morgan's adorable parents, and we had Vince's adorable parents. And, you know, they were just like, don't throw tomatoes at us. Don't boo us. We might have created this monster, but it's not all our fault. You know, we're trying to kick him out of the basement. We want to live our best life too. Hopefully I'll be able to find, I have so many screenshots from tonight's episode. So hopefully I can find the picture of his cute little parents, but they looked afraid, as they should be, because he's coming home again. That's $75K. Who thinks Vince is going to spend it all at the van store? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Allegedly. He'll be like, I got so many vans. I don't have any votes now, but I got a lot of vans. Who thinks he's going to buy a skateboard and try to keep skateboarding as a 35-year-old? Which, God bless if you can, okay? But yes. Reese G, thank you so much for coming in with the super chat. Reese says, Julie cut Ashley's iconic speech short just for them to insert this 5-minute, yes, mastermind reveal that wasn't needed. I wanted more speech. Me too. And she tried to cut off Vince, but she was not as aggressive with her cutoff of Vince's speech. So he just kept going. And he kept giving his speech. And I was like, let Ashley finish, please. But yeah, we saw tonight that the mastermind, they led us to believe it was Dr. Will. And Dr. Will was like, I was framed. It wasn't me. And instead, we have Eric from BB-8. And then we have, what's his face from, I can't remember his name right now, from BB-11, BB-10, House of Villains. What the hell is his name? I can't remember right now. And then Frankie Grande. And they were all let down in the game due to a twist. Mr. Spectacular. It was nice to see Eric. I haven't seen Eric in forever. I don't know if Eric's come back to anything in the past 20 years, you know. But we didn't need all that. Jesse, thank you guys. I'm like, I know it's Mr. Spectacular. What the hell is his first name? Because, yeah, going on the coup d'etat, that one must have burned. I forgot about Frankie's. I was like, why is Frankie there? And then they pulled up our sweet, sweet Victoria. Oh, boy. Let me share my screen here with you guys. What a night. What a night. What a night. If you haven't already, smash that like. You guys, let's see if we can get to 2K likes. Showing Frankie Grande coming in with this mastermind edit with Mr. Spectacular. I know that I think it was rumored that he might be part of the mastermind twist. The only thing I liked is that it wasn't Dr. Will, because Morgan had leaked it on the feeds that Dr. Will showed up to their part 2 of the final HOH. And so it was pretty spoiled. And I was like, that's dumb. But again, you know, Big Brother's twists, they never land the way they think they're going to land. And then Frankie Grande coming in fresh off reindeer games and also hosting the second part of the final HOH. And Eric, America's player, who never got to send Evil Dick home like he wanted to. So Evil Dick ended up winning the whole thing. Was a part of this too. And the clues were right under our nose the whole time. Where? I feel like the mastermind wasn't present enough for us to get that, or the house guests to get that. Literally, he disappeared for like a good month. We were like, what happened to the mastermind? And then he came back with Zingbot. We're like, oh yeah. Oh, okay. Awesome. Thanks, Big Brother. Oh boy. Josh D, thank you for the super chat. Josh said, did you notice Vince's family wasn't, they were there. Stan and Jan were there. I have a picture of them somewhere. So I took a picture of all the parents. We have Morgan's cute little parents here. Her family behind them are Ashley's mom and dad, right behind Morgan's parents, and then Vinny's parents. I got to find them, you guys, but guess who wasn't there? Kelsey.
It's inappropriate.
Something tells me Vince is not going to care that Kelsey isn't there because he got the $75K. And now that Morgan didn't win the $750,000, do you think that changes for her? And will they possibly date? Here's Vinny's sweet little parents. Oh, you little sweeties. I'm so sorry
I don't have any foods now.
that he's coming back to your basement. Allegedly. T. Willis, thank you so much for the super chat. Says taking a 2-hour shower from my girl Ashley tonight. Everyone take a good shower for Ashley. I did like when they revealed to the jury that Ashley won the third part of the HOH and Morgan came out as the 7th juror. Keanu's face was like, I mean, shocked. Jamie B, thank you for being a member for 52 months. What did I do to deserve you? A finale we wanted, but didn't think we would get. That's the one thing about this season is it left us wondering up until the end. That's not always the case for Big Brother. A lot of times we kind of know the outcome and you get these really long, slow final weeks. And this season, despite it lacking a lot in anyone knowing how to play the game, what the game was, strategically, a weird white locust twist, and all of that, the end of the game still kept us interested, even though we all need therapy after those late nights with Morgan and Vince. It still left us wondering what is going to happen. And so for that, I am grateful for this season and this ending, in that it wasn't just super predictable. Jay, thank you so much. I don't have any balls now. Yes.
I don't have any foods
Lady
now.
J says, legally Ashley, movie night, definitely. What a night. And Ashley just looked gorgeous. Realification, 52 months with Jamie B. You guys are twinsies. Thank you so much. Realification says, I'm so happy. Steffi 640 says, justice for Stan. I mean, his parents are adorable. You know, you can't always blame the parents. Sometimes the kids just aren't all right. You know what I'm saying? Jamie B, thank you for the super chat. I think Rachel's going to be the next mastermind. I thought for sure they were going to pull in Rachel when they started saying people who were screwed over by a twist. So when it was Eric's reveal, his mastermind reveal, I thought, oh, it's going to be Rachel. And then I'm like, oh, she came to the game for that? No. And it wasn't. So thankfully it wasn't. I thought that would have been kind of dumb. Buddy, thank you for the super chat. I still wanted Rachel to win. She was robbed of a twofer. Yes. Arno. Stu, thank you so much. Thanks for a great season of roasts and recaps. We did it, you guys. I still can't believe it. I was telling Hype Man husband, Chell RN, I can't believe it's over. The season is over. I can't believe Vinny's parents have to pull out of their 401ks for their 35-year-old son. Okay, obviously. Allegedly. So we, coming in to the episode, we had the final HOH. We saw part 1, which was an endurance. They were, floating, flying in the sky. Ashley fell first within 29 minutes. There was spinning. Vinny says, my tummy hurts, man. This hurts my tum-tums. Vinny says he gets car sick. I think a lot of us can relate to that. However, he says he gets car sick while he's driving. I've actually never heard of that before. I think Vinny is just lazy and doesn't want to drive or pay for a car. That's just
Boom.
kind of
Roasted.
what I'm thinking. Again, these are just my opinions, you guys.
That's my opinion!
And we're moving along. So they are spinning and twirling and holding on. No, Princey Pooh, for dear life. And ultimately, Morgan comes up, the victor of part 1, going into part 2, and we finally get to see this crash out that was talked about. I mean, obviously heavily edited, but Vinny and Ashley go into part 2 of the final HOH. Vinny's already crying after he loses part 1 of the HOH. And then they have to knock down these puzzle pieces. Frankie Grande is hosting it. And Vinny reads his little clue incorrectly, as does Ashley. But Ashley soon realizes that she read it incorrectly, corrects herself, is cool under pressure while Vinny is freaking out, thinking he's doing it correctly because he is putting the house guests in order of the day they left rather than putting them in which order, like, or what was his, it was the, what did I write down here? Okay, so it was Unmask the Mastermind. Frankie Grande hosting, and basically the password is order each house guest left the game. So you have to put the order in which the house guests left the game, and instead he was putting, I believe, the day they left the game rather than the order. And he had a big lead over Ashley in this competition, and yet he just didn't go back and reread his clue, which would have, cracked the actual passcode. And so he just was like, fuck. He was swearing. He was freaking out. He was angry. And Morgan and Frankie Grande are watching like, oh my God, he's got it wrong. Holy shit, Vinny. And Vinny just was like, it's Evan right. And he crashed out. I think I took some audio of it because I was just like, oh my gosh, this is embarrassing. And this is what Vinny was very afraid of America seeing him lose his sheet, as he just didn't understand what he did wrong. He thought for sure there's no way he could lose to Ashley. Because again, this whole game, Keanu and Vince kept saying how dumb Ashley is. She's so dumb. They were so annoyed with her. She didn't have a chance. She wasn't playing. Vince would regularly say, Ashley doesn't deserve to be here. Ashley doesn't do anything. Ashley sucks. Only to find out she's a lawyer. She went to Georgetown and she just won $750,000 and beat you. And you're lucky she did go to the end because Morgan wasn't going to take you. And you sit there with your $75,000. And I hope every day you pray to your Ashley little statue that you need to make, that you have any money at all, Vince. So let's listen to some of the audio of Vince. So he's going back and forth. Ashley thinks Ashley's like, oh my God, I can't catch up because she's behind, because the first part of the competition, they have to knock over these blocks that are puzzle pieces and they have to put the puzzles together. And then they have to put the house guests, the order in which they left the game. And so Vince is just freaking out. He's like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? Oh my God, you guys.
The password is the order each player pictured left the game.
Vince.
Oh my God. I'm just realizing that this competition is not about the days. It's about the order. It's Ashley, reread the card. Oh my God, I can't watch. Somebody tell me when it's over. What is wrong? There must be something I'm missing. So I need to read this envelope again because maybe there's something I didn't see.
Notice how Ashley's like, maybe I need to look again. I could be wrong. And Vince just cannot wrap his brain around the fact that he's wrong. The game must be wrong. Vince can't be wrong. Again, showing Vince has a real inability in this game to pivot. He just whines and cries when the game doesn't go his way and then ultimately begs, like he did last night, Morgan, to take him to final two. But to actually pivot and stay calm, that is not one of Vince's strong points.
Oh my gosh, Ashley! It's the order they left the house, not days. I don't want him to realize what I just realized, so I need to be really stealthy and change my answers quick. Amy, my girl, was the second person evicted, and her background is pink, so I need to put the number 2 in the pink slot. Nikki was the 8th person evicted from this house, right before jury. How could I forget? So I need to lock in the number 8 into the purple slot.
And Vince just keeps doing the same thing, hoping for a different outcome, but he keeps getting it wrong. This was so fun to watch. He's like,
I know that Will was the 10th house guest evicted, so I need to put number 10 in the green slot in my station. What day was it?
you guys, he screamed, what the fuck day was it? And he did this like a toddler. The amount of toddler level crash outs we've seen from this man this season on the feeds and now in this episode is insane. What the fuck day was it? That was me. Ha ha.
Underdog story again. This win means everything. I've guaranteed my spot to compete against Morgan in the final part of the 3-part HOH.
Get it, Ashley.
And if I can pull out that win, I guarantee my spot in the final 2 seeds. Vinny, we made the same mistake.
What was the
Come here,
this?
look.
Each player left the game.
In the order.
I feel like the stupidest person on the planet. Because I can't read directions. I just lost $750,000 because I can't read directions. Just give me your. I don't deserve to win. I don't deserve to win. Hey, I'm awful.
Can you imagine what they had to cut in this? So Morgan goes to console. He goes, I just deserve to win the game. I'm effing awful. And he is just throwing a fit.
Other people beat me. I give credit when credit is due. I beat myself.
No, Ashley beat you. Like I know that you loved I beat myself. No, Ashley beat you because she completed it before you. She figured it out. You did it. She wins. You can't beat yourself. I know you think that's saving your ego while showing some kind of false humility, but Ashley won. I just want you to know that, Vinny. If you ever watch this video, Ashley beat you. You didn't beat yourself. She beat you. Okay? Just know that. Give her credit. Put some respect on her name.
I beat me.
I beat me. He's like, ugh, ugh, and then he's squatting like he's going to do an outdoor doo-doo. And Morgan, I don't know what it is with you. I really worry for you. It's good to be a compassionate person, but when you have this much of a whiner crybaby, can you just let him process his feelings? You don't have to save this man from himself. Like, who told Morgan it was her job to save Vince for these 80 plus days? That's exhausting. Who wants to do that? People in marriages don't even do that. Like, it's unhealthy.
I worked my ass off for 3 months. And I can't win when I need to. There's a lot of worst case scenarios this season, but this is by far the worst.
I thought it was the best.
Congratulations, Ashley.
Woo! And then the saddest part is it took Vince like so long on that day to actually go congratulate Ashley and be a good sport. There's one thing to be upset, but to not recognize that she did in fact beat you, and then to not be like, hey, good job. It's a game. I lost. But again, Vince really felt superior to her and felt like he deserved to be there. He belonged there, and she did not. Up until last night, he was still talking shit about Ashley and the night before in the hot tub about how she didn't do anything. She didn't deserve to be there. And yet he did. He's worked his ass off, but she hasn't. Okay, Vinny. Oh my goodness. Buddy, thank you for the super chat. Buddy says, was really sad that Riley and Kat are together. She can do so much. That was like, I'm not going to say I'm surprised because I think she's young and I think it takes some time. Hopefully she can escape the hostage manse. But I mean, he successfully love bombed her throughout the house. I have a whole video about it and the behavior that we saw and my, thoughts on that. But I hope the best for her, and hopefully those around her pay attention to the warning signs and pay attention to his behavior and are just there for her, because unfortunately, like a lot of people know, not to get like too serious on this, but it is, serious when you're in a relationship like this and you pick up these signs of toxicity or verbal emotional abuse. It's not necessarily is the person, your family or loved one, going to be able to get out of this situation right away. But it is important to be there for them when they are. But just look for a lot of isolating signs, things like that. But, hopefully she gets away. That's all I can hope, because he's garbage. But those are my thoughts on it. DGF, thank you so much for the super chat. This is basically Morgan blew her chance at $750,000 to have Vince sort of proclaim her as his number one over his real number one, Lorazepam. No, Lorazepam.
Boom. Roasted.
Lorazepam, like Lorazepam. As Kelsey fumed at home. Well, hopefully Kelsey's with friends and people who love her, who are like, this dude ain't shit. This dude ain't shit. Kelly Cal, thank you for the super chat. Kelly Cal says, I am in my last year of law school. Get it, Kelly Cal. And found that final comp exactly how law school feels. Every day. Not for the week. Vince could never. He could never. Thank you so much, Kelly Cal. And shout out to you. Last year of law school. That is very impressive. Daryl, thank you for the super chat. Daryl says, thanks for another great season. You're so welcome. Thank you, Daryl, for the super chats. Hopefully Morgan learned her lesson. Listen, I cannot raise these ladies. I am just Auntie Jolene. I can merely give you tips as a woman who is older than you and been through some stuff and seen some stuff. But ultimately, you have to come about that on your own, ladies. And I wish you the best. And just know you deserve better than these losers. Okay. So we then, before this competition, we did get our jury roundtable with Chody Cauliflower. What did you guys think of seeing Cody host the roundtable? He seemed very excited to be there. I don't know, do they still host the winner circle? I mean, Derek got a job, so he was like, I need a job too. As far as roundtable hosts go, I'm biased because I'm not a huge Cody Cauliflower fan, but there wasn't much memorable. It was kind of like cauliflower, just like plain without ranch, not roasted, no seasoning. Just, I don't even remember that he was there. That's kind of how it went.
Boom. Roasted.
It was like the Hallmark movies he's in. Name them. You can't. And you won't. And you'll never be able to. And that's just how it is. But good job. I don't know. Congratulations. I'm sure it pays. That's got to be nice. Okay. Moving along. The jury talks about looking for someone who's willing to take accountability for their game. All right. Then I'm like, oh, shit. Vince is screwed because he's a whiner and a crybaby and wants to blame everybody else. So I think that was a direct shot at Vince. Like, take accountability for your moves and take accountability for the problems in your social game. They went over the players and talked about what was good about them, what was bad about them. And we had Morgan. They said her comp wins are impressive. Keanu talks about the first part of the season, her social game. And they talk, I think it was Kelly or I think it was Ava. Oh, Ava. She was talking about Morgan being paranoid and sporadic. And I think everyone's paranoid to Ava because Ava they woke her up to strategize, and she was like, why are you waking me up? I think Ava was just holding that against people who actually wanted to play the game. She was like, I'd be napping and tooting. Okay. And this lady'd come in and she'd be like, let's talk game. And I'm like, whatever happens, happens. Okay. At least Rachel didn't pull your arm and assault you, allegedly. They also said they wanted Morgan and Vince, if they were in those final two chairs, to basically tell them whose moves were whose. And then Rachel said that she felt like Morgan allowed herself to play a little of Vince's game. So if Morgan sat in those final two chairs, she was going to have to tell the jury what her moves were and explain, was she playing the game for Vince? Because when Rachel went to jury, for a while, it looked very much like Vince had quite a few people wanting to play the game, Keanu, Lauren, Morgan with him, despite Vince being a known liar and lying on the regular. They still would go back to him, which I think Rachel and other people in the jury were like, what is it about this guy? Okay. Rachel clocked it early on. She's like, Lauren, you don't have to follow the unemployed man. Okay. The 35-year-old guy living with his parents who doesn't want to work because he hasn't found his quote unquote passion yet, who juggles and cheats on his girlfriend on national television. That is not someone who has the kind of insight and, decision-making skills that you want to follow in a game like this. And Morgan's like, Lauren was like, yeah, I think like
2,000 years later.
I just don't know. So they tried to tell him. When they talked about Vince's game, they were saying that Vince is good at making you believe he's your ally and that he was, a decent player. Bad was the unnecessary lying. And we talked about that all the time over here, is that unnecessary lying that Vince did was going to come bite him in the ass. And it did. It definitely did. And then SK Kelly, our favorite South Dakota serial killer, allegedly, she named it Lying and Crying. She's like, he is lying. And I was like, yes, Kelly. If he's not lying, he's crying. And if he's crying, he's most certainly lying as well. So Kelly coined that. And that, I do remember something from Cody. He said, that's a good one. I like that one. That was good. And she was like, thank you, man. I've never seen before, because Kelly doesn't know anything about the show. Kelly, allegedly, Kelly was like, who is this? Is this a retired model? Who is this man? Okay, I've never seen you before. All right. They also said that bad jury management was one of Vince's downfalls in the game. And can he recover from the impact of pissed off jurors? Will talked about. And Rachel was like, whoa. We are not allowing this jury to be a bitter jury. And now I think that there's a certain sense when I'm like, what really is a bitter jury? Because jury management in a social strategical game is so important, because that's a huge part of the social strategy. The way you leave people feeling is a part of that. So if you don't know how to do that, that's a failure in the game. And if people feel that way when it's time to vote about your social strategy, are they bitter, or are they just seeing the fault in your social game? So I go back and forth. I know a lot of people are like bitter jury, bitter jury, but I feel like that term is thrown around too much, and it is more true that you just failed in that social aspect of the game. And the way you leave people feeling, it's like the thing in life. People will forget what you say, but they never forget how you make them feel. And if you're in a social strategic game and you make people feel like shit, they're going to remember that. And when it comes around to deciding who wins $750,000, they're definitely going to base their decision on that. Thank you, Angie Perez, for the super chat. Angie says 4 things. All right. Number 1, so happy Ashley won, made up for a bad season. Number 2, please watch Survivor Australia versus the World. It's a masterpiece. Number 3, can't wait to see you cover Tar. And 4, thank you for your hard work this season. Thank you, Angie. I really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, I will be doing my recap of the first episode of The Amazing Race. I also have my pop culture stuff we're getting back into. Also the post-season Big Brother and Bravo content for those of you who are around for that. And then occasionally I dive into, trending news law cases, like we covered the Karen Reed trial and we roasted up that. So lots more coming. And Traders, this new season of Traders. Oh, that's what I wanted to tell you. I was so disappointed. I thought for sure Julie Chen was going to tell us at the end that we'll see you in February for Celebrity Big Brother. What the frick? What? We don't get a Celebrity Big Brother? But the Olympics are this winter. And we usually get, I thought, a Celebrity Big Brother when there's the Olympics.
It's inappropriate.
Is she waiting? Does that mean there's no chance of us getting Celebrity Big Brother? Why? I just don't understand. There's lots of D-list, C-list, Z-list people who would love to do that. Make it happen. Celebrity Big Brother is one of my favorite shows. And we've only gotten, 3 seasons of it? Right? I was so sad. Some people in chat are saying it still could be casting. I hope so, but I feel like by now they would at least announce that they're going to do it. Because it's not hard to find people who want to be on television. All right? Come on. Let's be real. Especially people who are trying to get relevant again and stuff. T. Willis, thank you for the super chat. Says the way Kelly looked when she wasn't called. I know. She was doing this. And I was like, Kelly, are you kidding? I thought she was kidding. But I think she was like, oh. Oh. And Ava too. I would not, Katie. I would never go on Big Brother. I would be horrible at it. And I can't live with people like this. No, I know myself. You guys would be like, oh, we got to get her out of there. Not good. All right. Then they talked about Ashley's gameplay. The jury said, she's like a social beast. She didn't lie unnecessarily. She was loyal. And then it came up that she's a lawyer. And then Ava gets told and Ava's like, if I never see Ava's fake clip baiting, like pandering, clip fishing, fake reactions again, it'll be too soon. I cannot tell you how much I never want to see them cast someone like Ava again. I can't. Too performative. Just doesn't know anything about anything and fakes the funk. I can't. I can't do another Ava type casting. Just because someone wears a big floppy hat and reads auras, we don't need them on the show.
Boom.
Okay?
Roasted.
Just stay
No.
doing whatever you do in New York, but don't come here and all of this, all of that, and just looking. I mean, she looks for the camera. Look at her. You're going to get people on these shows who obviously want attention, but I think a lot of the fandom has been saying we don't need influencers. We don't need people who are just there for followers. And someone like Ava's clearly, there for the wrong reasons. And is so apparent. Like can you just fake it? And she couldn't. And it cringe. That's the perfect word. Just cringe. Her face, Kira says. It was too much. I'm like, Ava, I've seen enough. Thank you so much. Enjoy your life. God bless. Okay, but we're done here. Thank you. Kelly, SK, I was actually kind of enjoying SK Kelly this finale. She was laughing at Vinny from the jury. The round table, she said that she was impressed at Ashley's ability to dumb herself down, knowing what she now knows about Ashley. And so I was like, okay, Kelly. Okay, Kelly with the dead bugs. Okay, SK Kelly. I mean, when I'm looking at SK Kelly with more fond eyes than I am Ava, you messed up, Ava. There's no reason I should be like, you know who's not that bad as Ava? It's serial killer Kelly. She's actually not that bad.
It's inappropriate.
And she put dead bugs in the house and wanted to put it in people's food. And still kind of better than you. A little bit. Okay, moving on. Obviously, the second part of the HOH, Vince's crash out, the mastermind, Dr. Will, or the alleged mastermind, Dr. Will shows up. And Morgan had been lusting after Dr. Will after seeing him in person. She was like, oh my God. And Ashley's like, oh, is he single? Ashley wasn't interested, but asking for like Morgan. And Morgan's like, Ashley, you have to go back and watch BB7. He's so hot. And Ashley's like, there's no way that I am going to think that. Because to Ashley, you know, what is she, 24, 25 years old? Dr. Will is like 45 or older. She's like, that's my dad. Gross. You know, but to Morgan's 34. You know, I don't know if Will is remarried, has a girlfriend, but Morgan seemed interested. She was just like, oh my God, Dr. Will was here. He's so hot. So who knows? Maybe we'll see a Dr. Will Morgan partnership. I think he might be married though. Again, I don't know. So who knows, you guys, but very interesting. Thank you, Matt, for the super chat. Matt Bellinger says Vince laughing when Morgan was getting evicted. Isn't it funny how Vince, everyone online will have you, not everyone, but there's a large portion of people online who will have you believe that Vince is this poor victim and we have to be so fragile with him. And he's really struggling and he's not emotionally manipulative at all, even though everyone who lived with him for 80 plus days were like, wow, you're very emotionally manipulative, just like what we saw as viewers. And they'll have you go, oh, be gentle, be kind with this man. But he only cries and pouts and puts himself down when he doesn't get stuff he wants. You know, it's only when things don't go his way. It's not just randomly. He's like, boy, I sure do have low self-esteem. It's only when he thinks those things that he's entitled to don't come through for him that he's like, I suck. And then he panders and tries to manipulate people for pity, to feel sorry for him, or when he's in trouble. But when other people are in trouble, even his number one, he's really not that upset. He's like, oh, it's cool. It's cool. I mean, he was crybabying for the past how many days, you know, because he didn't win part 1 and he didn't win part 2. And this is his dream. And, you know, somehow his dream, you know, everyone else is supposed to put his dream above their own. And you have no idea, Morgan. You know what it's like, man. And then Morgan loses that third part of the HOH and she has more composure and more maturity than he's ever shown through the whole game. And yet he ain't sad for her. He's like, thanks, Ashley. Bye, Morgan. Bye, see you later. Let me know if Kelsey's out there. If not, call me. It's very interesting. Very interesting. I see you. I see through you, sir. I know everyone wants to cry baby pity you, but I don't pity you. I see your game. I see what you're doing. Doesn't work on me like he was. He was like, this is great. I got second place. $75,000. This is more than I've ever made my whole life, man. This is amazing. God.
I don't have any votes now.
And who still voted for him? Morgan. Morgan, learn a lesson, girl. Learn a lesson. Oh my gosh. He'll probably find a way to ruin everyone's night now. But yeah, Morgan left and was the 7th juror, and he was just like, and why doesn't he have a finale outfit? Like, what? We're doing the beanie, and it's still like 80 degrees in LA. Really? This is what we're doing? We're doing the unemployed lumberjack? who's lives out in the woods for finale night? We don't have one dress shirt we could put on, a sweater that doesn't have a zipper with this, and it's a pair of Vans. So yeah, it's like, oh boy, he's too cool, man. He's gonna go drink some craft beer, or Coors Banquet beer, or PB Army ASAP. He's chilly. He's chilly. He's got some blood flow circulation issues, allegedly. Okay. So Vince's crash out, epic, will go down in history as like, oh my gosh. That's a warning to all future women who might get involved with this man. Yes, he was on TV, but look up what he did on TV. And then your lady boner will go, down, down, down. The final HOH comp was the perjury duty. So Ashley and Morgan had 3 statements that that the jury members would say in videos. One of the statements was false, so they had to identify which statement was false. And then the house guest with the most points after 6 videos wins. Ashley dominated this. Like, it wasn't even close. It was 4-1. Morgan got the first one right, and then after that, it was just downhill. And again, how is Morgan supposed to win? She hasn't gotten any sleep. She's going up against a Georgetown educated lawyer. She's got, Vinny in the back of her head being like, I don't have a job, man. Nothing's my passion, man. You got to take me, man. I would take you, even though he did not intend to take her. Like Ashley said, he made a final 2 with me too. He was going to take me because he wanted to win the game. Duh. Oh, so Morgan unfortunately loses. And you see in that last question she was given, she wanted to switch her answer. Ashley was thinking about it. And I think she went to switch and then kept her original answer. And then at the last minute, Morgan wanted to switch her answer. And Julie was like, answers are locked, because Morgan had already been holding on to her answer for quite a while. And Morgan's like, yeah. And I think it would have been 2-3. So the game would have kept going. But unfortunately for Morgan, Ashley swept it 4-1. And then Ashley has to go inside and make the final decision as the final HOH, having won a comp her first week, the veto, taking herself off the block against Vinny, who was HOH and put her up after he promised he would not do that. So she has to, after competing in this, she has to go stand in front of the remaining house guests, being Morgan and Vinny. And Morgan's like, oh, it's so weird. We're both on the block next to each other, Vinny. And Vinny's like, yeah, because Vinny knew. He knew Ashley was taking him because Ashley told him. And he never admitted that to Morgan either. Like, stayed lying until the absolute end. He probably will still try to gaslight and lie to Morgan, even though she can see it on television and experienced, it as well. So we finally see Vince and Morgan, the cheap mans, on the block together. They're holding hands. Oh boy. And Ashley's like, oh, I didn't think I'd have to make this decision. So I didn't, I did think about it, but I didn't think I would win. But I'm sorry. I love you. You're my best friend in this house, Morgan. And Ashley has said nothing but like wonderful things about Morgan, how she loves Morgan. She talks about on the feeds how Morgan is such like a selfless, thoughtful, kind person who she wants in her life forever. She's like, Morgan will be at my wedding. I love her. And so Ashley, tearfully, but not like crybabily, like Vince, votes to evict Morgan as the last house guest who will enter the jury. And now it is Ashley versus Vince going into the final 2. We get, Another long hug. Oh my God. I was like, oh, Jesus. Can you just hug like normal? Do we really have to squeeze the life out of each other? You literally are squeezing the life out of me. We got another areola to areola crunch hug as she held him tightly. And he's like, yeah, I skirted my way to the end. I'm a weasel. I'm a snake. Morgan hugs Ashley. Ashley's like, I'm so sorry. Morgan's like, it's okay. I'm at peace. She tells Julie Chen, I'm at peace. I'm so peaceful. I'm at peace. But I mean, I wouldn't I would understand. But like, would I be at peace that quickly? I think she's probably in shock. You know, she leaves the Big Brother house and immediately, is questioned. And she's like, no, it makes sense. It's fine. Vince is my best friend. He's my best friend. He's just my best friend. I was kind of, it would have been great had Morgan won, because then we would have seen Morgan and Ashley final two, which would have been fun to see. My fear is that Ashley would have lost to Morgan, because Morgan also had the strategy and the social game. And had she won that last part and taken Ashley, I don't really see how Ashley, could have won in that instance, because when people left going to the jury, people that Vince had burned, they were basically like, good job, Morgan. I'm voting for you at the end. So ultimately, Ashley made the right decision. But it would have been nice to see the two of them sitting there. But I mean, it is what it is. Ashley won. That's amazing. And I did want to see, though, Morgan was practicing her final two speech, as they all were. And she was contemplating how she was going to reveal her big career. And it would hit a little different than Ashley's, because she was like, hello, I am Model Morg. Okay. What you guys don't know about me is I'm not just a model and a bar back, but I'm also a competitive gaming streamer person on Twitch. To which Will would have went, what is Twitch? Possibly Rachel too. And that is what? You've probably seen me before if you listen to K-pop or play GTA roleplay. And I use the skills that I learned being a content creator and professional gamer on Twitch to win this game. And she was trying to like come up with it over the weekend of how she would reveal to them her big career. It was kind of funny, because I'm like, oh, Ashley's already, if you do win, and she planned on taking Ashley was like, yes, I'm a lawyer at an international firm, and I graduated from Georgetown Law. And people would be like, oh my God. And then Morgan's like, in addition to Ashley being an international lawyer at a prestigious law firm and going to Georgetown, I too have a secret. What is that, Morgan? I play video games on Twitch. That'd be like if I was there. Hi, guys. You might not know this, but I have 47,000 plus subscribers on YouTube, where I roast television shows and pop culture. If I was sitting next to Ashley, said that, do you have anything you want to share, Jolene? I do not. I'm unemployed. I would actually say I'm unemployed. But I was just waiting, because Morgan thought these people are going to be gagged. Have you guys heard of K-pop? And Will would be like, no. Is that a soda? Do you drink it? No. I don't know about it. Well, I rate it. I have a Twitch channel where occasionally I share with my fans that I like to munch on the back door of the men I date.
It's inappropriate.
Yes. Which prepared me to munch on the back door of Vinny's. Wait. In the scam. Okay. Maybe not. Do you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, you guys? Yeah, I'll be like, I roast Big Brother, and I'm probably getting roasted by many people. But there's no way I'd be in final two of Big Brother, because I would have self-evicted. Be like, you're all dirty and there's ants everywhere. yuck, I hate you. I'm 45. I need alone time. I just would not be able to do that. So Morgan leaves. She gets to ask a question. Julie's like, don't tell us. Don't tell us, girl. And then the jury comes out. All right. And looking fabulous. I do have to say, everyone minus Ava, no offense.
Boom.
Okay.
Roasted.
But Zingbot already said you were a boho shit. Looked very dapper. Okay. Lauren even had a little chuckle. She got a chuckle from the audience. She made a little funny. Lauren did. She was like, I'm just voting. Okay, bye. Or I forget what she said, but everyone was like, ha, 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 ha. And she was like, that was fun. It was quick and to the spot. Will, when he voted, he was like, I'm voting for my daughter, Ashley, Ashley. She's sitting over there next to Vince. Ashley, the Georgetown educated lawyer who quit her prestigious job at the international law firm. And Julie was like, you're not supposed to tell us any identifying clues. He's like, that's not identifying. What are you talking about? I just said, that could be Vince too. Okay. She's like, thank you. Thank you so much. But you can pretty much tell by everyone's answers who they were voting for. Ultimately, Vince only got a vote from Morgan. The way Rachel squealed and yelled when she found out Ashley was the final HOH winner was so amazing, because it just shows you how much Rachel really does love this game and was looking for friendship and people to play with that she could be friends with, which ultimately is why she answered the frenemies question that way. When Julie asked her about the, friend me, she's like, that was great, but I really needed a friend. And you could see in those early days, Rachel did want Keanu to be her friend. She did want to have this alliance and this, relationship of like, let's be friends, because her previous season, she's never really had that kind of camaraderie with her cast. Her first season, they all hated her. The second season, obviously, it was returning couples, returning duos with newbies, and she only had a few friends there, So this season, she really wanted to work on her social game and developing relationships. And unfortunately, her and Keanu could never get on the same page because he just refused to believe her and wanted to work with Vince and Riley and all the buttholes. So her finding that relationship in Ashley and having like almost a little big brother protege, you could tell that it was sweet how she was genuinely happy for Ashley. And I think if Keanu and her could have been friends on that level and worked together in the game, she would have been equally as happy for him. But they just always had that obstacle. But I thought it was really cute the way she squealed and yelled so loud to find out that Ashley was won the final HOH. So right away off the bat, they start asking questions. Ashley is like, hello, I am a lawyer. And in the words of Elle Woods, she is a wonderful woman from a movie, Legally Blonde. And I knew going into this, I had to hide that I was a Georgetown educated lawyer at a prestigious international law firm. Otherwise, I would be a target in this game. You don't want to be too liked. You don't want to be too hated. All right. And you have to be able to pivot and you have to be able to move in this game. And Ashley's answers were just on point. And you could tell she practiced it, but not to the point where it was like a cringe read, like Jimmy, talking to you, Jimmy, or Ava with the, Vinny, you want a pawn in this game? I'll give you a pawn right here. Because when I win POV, if I wake up in time tomorrow, this whole place is gonna burn, no, shake. And then walks out and everyone's like, she doesn't really try that hard. Slam door and then go, how is that? Is that good? Is that good? No, it wasn't good. It was horrible. It was cringe. It was bad. Because you weren't playing the game like that. Why are you trying to be this character? There's live feeds. We know who you are. Girl, you barely woke up for this. Please stop. You were like human melatonin. That is not you. You're not cutthroat like that. You had like one day, I'm not even gonna say a week, when you were HOH and you made your nominations of Vince and Zach, where we were like, get it, girl. And then after that, nothing. Literally nothing. Okay. Oh boy. But Ashley was just delivering. And I know some people feared, or there were people on, social media who were like, Ashley's going to come off too rehearsed. But I think when you're in your final two speech, you can come off rehearsed. You can come off, and if you rehearse it enough times, you just come off polished and determined and like you're actually passionate about it, because it spoke to who Ashley really was, and that she did have to downplay her outside world, where Vinny really dove into the poor me, poor, pitiful me. And he's like, I don't have any money. I don't have a job, man. Come on, I've been trying for 10 years. Ashley had to lean more into not letting people catch on that she was actually an educated, smart person who was there to play the game. She had to be a little more covert about it, a little more hidden. And the best thing that Ashley did in her speeches, and the point that she made that really hit home, was turning enemies into allies. I can't say enough about what a wonderful description and strategic move to highlight in this social strategy game, because this isn't just like a competition show. This is literally so different from just your average competition show. So being able to, I think that was something that Morgan was good at as well. People who would target her, same as Ashley, she would then befriend them and work with them and become allies, rather than making them her enemy. And then pointing out that Vinny didn't even make people his enemy who came at him. He made his allies freaking enemies.
Boom. Roasted.
That's actually the sign of an awful social game. You have people who are down to ride for you throughout the game, who believe in you, mostly because they feel sorry for you and they believe like, I'm just making a mistake. I don't know, man. You have these people who then leave the house hating you. That is proof that your social game is garbage. So the fact that Ashley kept pointing out that she turned her enemies into allies, and she formed alliances, she had shields. At one point, she was so insulated in the house that she was basically with everyone. And where they should be looking toward her, they weren't, because she positioned herself that way, similar to like on a chessboard. She insulated herself, made herself safe, and without even anyone noticing. And that is impressive, So I think pointing that out was huge for Ashley. And then as she was delivering her answers, Julie's like, save some for later. That's what she tells Les Moonves.
Boom. Roasted.
When he just prematurely, less is more. And he's like,
boom.
Okay.
Roasted.
That's enough, Jolene. But I really liked that she came prepared. She came with all of her points and was like, and this, and then this, and then this, and I can keep going. Because I think the jury thought they were maybe going to catch her up on like, tell us specifically what you did. Like, paint us a picture of your game, girl. And she was like, and then this, and then that, and then da. And even Vinny was like, you could tell he was shitting his skinny jeans as he was like, oh, that was pretty good. Vinny's speech, they asked him, they talked to him about emotionally manipulating the people. And he's like, I mean, man, I don't know if I emotionally manipulated you guys. I mean, I just was kind of playing the game, man. And this is who I am, man. And, man, it wasn't a horrible speech, but I think the damage had already been done no matter what Vince would say. The fact that you're looking at a guy who had all this power in the game and had these HOHs and found himself with people wanting to work with him, and yet he left everyone feeling awful, horrible, with unnecessary lying and undue stress, and never really owning it. Because even now, him saying, that's just what I decided to do, man. There was time within the game for him to own these moves, but he already conditioned the jurors to believe that none of the moves were his, that he was a big titty baby, and that he did Morgan's bidding, and that he was scared of everything. And when he had power, he didn't utilize it for himself. He did it for Morgan. So he had already told the jurors that. So, I mean, it's just really, I can't emphasize enough how bad Vince's social game is and how disloyal. I think Vince was right. And we talked about this previously, that his only way to win this game was to win the second part of the HOH, and then the third part of the HOH, take Morgan and say, look, I wasn't loyal to any of you, but that's because I was loyal to this woman right here. And we had a final two, and I rode with her and rode hard, and knew at the end I just wanted to go to the end with her. I think then maybe him showing like an ounce of loyalty, an ounce of reasoning for all the unnecessary lying, all the theatrics, then maybe they will go, oh shit, that makes sense. But otherwise, it's just like, nah, you just messy. You just sloppy, messy, and willfully unemployed. That's not fun.
Boom.
That's not fun. Why your mustache like that? Like, I would have asked, why do you have a mustache like that?
Boom.
Okay.
Roasted.
Why do you want to look like discount Daniel Day-Lewis? Okay. Why are you not letting your parents enjoy their retirement?
It's inappropriate.
And why are you cheating on your girlfriend on national television and then trying to gaslight us in the DR that you aren't? Can you explain that specifically? How all of these things that you have done don't make it seem as though you are, in fact, trying to hump around with Morgan. Thank you very much. Hashtag Team Kelsey. That's where I would have went. So ultimately, Vinny gets one vote from his best friend, Morgan. I wonder, I know there's people who will, they'll come out of the house and they'll see like, oh, I like this cheap man's, but for the most part, I don't think it turned out the way they really thought they were something. They were like, and we've been teamed up and we're gonna, get to the end and one of us is gonna win. And then Ashley comes in as like the sleeper win, even though she didn't sleep like Ava, and wins it all, and wins at life, and wins at this outfit as well. So Ashley wins Big Brother 27. All is right in the world. As she celebrates and starts hugging people, she was really, really excited to see Amy, who left so early pre-jury. They let everyone know that Amy was the accomplice. They're like, Amy! And Julie's like, Amy, did you think you'd be like good at this? And I forget what Amy, her answer, or did you think you'd be able to do this? Yeah. Why? Because I just thought, I don't know. Whatever her answer was, I was like, oh, okay. Thank you, Amy. Shout out to Amy. And so Ashley's just like, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And then you have these shots of her with like her big sisters in the house, Rachel and Amy, who left very early, but was important to Ashley in her first couple weeks. I mean, Amy basically put her own game on the line to be like, don't put Ashley up when Vince was HOH. And then Rachel, to go from, nominated early in the game, that weird shower situation that really wasn't anything. And we found out that she wasn't even in the shower that long. She was actually talking game with Vince, but whatever. To go from that early of a target, to go from having people in the house be like, she's stupid, dismissive of her, some of the men in the house, to Zingbot saying she was Rachel's shadow. I feel like the edits and stuff, it just didn't do Ashley's game justice. So Ashley had to do Ashley's game justice, and she did in the end. And so now she becomes an unforgettable part of the Big Brother legacy, and obviously of BB27, where it seemed like the edit, and I mean, her zing didn't even make sense. If you are a feedster and you are someone who watches and covers the feeds, you know Ashley is a huge part of this season. But they wanted to go, who is this? What are you talking about? So to see her unjustly, get kind of hidden in a lot of edits, to see them not show just how hard Ashley was working every day and studying and pivoting and strategizing and socializing, and to just dumb her down to this character she went in as, and to see her come out of it winning was pretty fun. Pretty fun to see. And then we have the America's favorite player, you guys. Now put it in the chats, in the live chat, and also in the comment section who you voted for America's favorite player, because allegedly Keanu won by freaking 65% of the vote. I was like, holy shit. That's crazy. Josh D, thank you so much for the super chat. Josh D says, you think Ashley's speech swayed Keanu and Lauren's vote? I think so. I think the speech, I think her history, I think when Lauren left the house, she was like saying in interviews, like, I was impressed with how smart Ashley was. And I think even Keanu, once Keanu took off his Vince goggles of how he was just like obsessed with this bromance that never was, he was able to see like Ashley is not a dumbass. And yes, I do think the speech, but I think also the bad taste that Vince left because of his atrocious social game also, didn't hurt Ashley. Matt says BB is weird because second place is the true third place. Thank you for the super chat, Matt. Josh says Kelly was being bitter, but it's okay. We want a bitter jury this season. But do you think Keanu and Lauren were bitter, or did Ashley's speech sway their votes? Well, I just answered that, but thank you, Josh, so much. Laura and Christy Buffenmeyer, thank you for the super chat. Says thanks for another BB season. Found you in 2020 during BB, and we have been riding with you since. Thank you guys so much. I loved Vince's face when Ashley announced she was an attorney from Georgetown. So amazing. It was so amazing. I love moments like that. Shell Bell, thank you for the super chat. Says, are there any Vince fans in here? I don't know. I'm sure Vince has fans. I've seen a few on social media, I think. Possibly. Maybe. Could be his mom, Stan and Jan. Okay. So I do see a lot of Rachel votes, a lot of Keanu votes. Yes, Cass says Vince goggles so real. Dawn says Keanu wasn't a bitter. I didn't feel like Keanu was bitter. No, I feel like Keanu went into this with Keanu. If anything, he gave Vince all the chances to be someone he'd vote for. And in the end, I think he was able to see that those last few days when he realized that Vince was just always lying to him, I think finally woke him up. And then being in the jury house, I'm sure, and comparing notes with like Rachel and the rest of them helped him with that as well. So I think ultimately he, gave respect where respect was due, and that was to Ashley and Ashley's game. So Raymond says, I haven't seen anybody upset Vince lost anywhere. I don't think you will. Maybe. I don't know. Are there casuals out there? I mean, it's really hard to cheer for a guy who's openly disrespecting a relationship of 7 years on national television and then acting like he's not. There's one thing to do it and own the behavior. I feel like Vince could have in that moment been really honest, and I have these weird feelings and I feel so awful. And I think humans, we can understand that we're all flawed individuals and beings, and go, either you've been in that situation or the situation has happened to you and you're like, oh shit, I don't love it, but like at least he's owning it. But Vince couldn't own anything, and the fact that he blatantly and even more disrespectfully went in the DR time after time when it's called out and said, I don't know, man. Like, she's my friend, man. We're sleeping in the same bed, but it's a big bed. When we watch him on the live feeds, cuddling her, trying to break through their pillow barrier, trying to talk her into sleeping head to head to where they finally are, him trying to touch her. Like, the fact that he kept lying, being a super fan, just gave me even more the ick. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people felt that way and were like, ew, gross. So not only could he not own the gay moves, but he couldn't own the stuff that was happening in the house. And no one likes to feel like they're being like blatantly gaslit like that. Yeah, the options talk, it was just all so gross. Again, gross, and that seems to be a trend in Vince's life, is unnecessary lying, which causes even more hurt and distress to people who actually care about him, which is crappy. So, Michelle says positives to live chats this season are, I found Joleen and all of you in this fantastic chat. Michelle, that's so sweet. Yeah, it's just like nasty gameplay. Yeah, stalking Morgan while she showered and then keeping her up. I know a lot of people made the point that, like, yes, Morgan and Vince had similar tactics in that sense of when he was HOH, she too was like, I am staying on his ass so that I get Lauren put up either as the nomination or the renom, and then also get her voted out. So they had similar tactics in that. It was like it was like psychological warfare for the two of them and for us viewing. But last night was very gross to watch her be like, please, I can't talk about this anymore, please. And then he's like, but you have to pick Morgan. Come on, man. And then some can argue, well, she stayed there. And she then was like, well, I'm going to take a shower. Just come in the shower. Or not come in the shower, but come talk to me while I shower. And then he sat there just like shaking his legs with his head down, pouting. It was just too much. Who wants to reward someone like that? There's one thing to be a villain and kind of own it. Vince never was going to own it. He doesn't think he's a villain. He thinks he's a victim. And that's gross. But let me know if anyone is a Vince fan. I'll try not to judge you. I'll try very hard. I'll silently judge you. Okay. But I am curious with Shell Bell's question if there are any Vince fans. Angie Perez, thank you so much for the super chat. Angie says the Ashley Zing lawyer lowered her threat level in front of the house guests. That's true. They did her a favor. Also, Vince's only claimed move was joining the judges. That's kind of what he said. And Ashley saying she created it. She talked Rachel into it. She talked Rachel into working with Morgan when Rachel wanted Morgan gone. Sealed it for her. Yep. Ashley just came prepared. She came correct. She got sleep. She didn't spend the season fighting in a cheat man's. She got some sleep. You got to get them poisons out of your brain. So far, I haven't seen any Vince fans. Gia says they were both incredibly toxic. Both thought way too highly of themselves. Yes, Cass. And he wasn't even loyal to the judges. And the way he acted about the Lauren situation, and like he had no choice, even though he's HOH and he literally is in charge of nominations and renom, and he acted like Morgan held a, pew pew to his head and was like, do it now or you're done. They didn't, Alex. They didn't, because they were so self-involved by this point. Alex Max says Morgan and Vince didn't even consider Ashley to win third. They didn't, because they were it was all them or nothing. Ashley was just an accessory to them. That was the problem that they both had going into this, into the finals here, is that they went off by themselves for so long, and they were just in this toxic bubble where they constantly fought like a soap opera every night and every day, often staying in the HOH room, having no contact with other people unless they had to. And when people would try to talk to them, Morgan would be like, not right now. Or even Vince would be like, no. And so they really alienated themselves from the rest of the house. Meanwhile, Ashley was down there putting in the work, making relationships with Lauren, making relationships with serial killer Kelly. That's impressive. Okay. They did not like Ashley like that beforehand. Making relationships with Ava and Keanu. So Ashley's down there still playing, and those two were so self-absorbed and involved in their weird little toxic circle that they could not see outside of it. And they literally just thought, we'll bring Ashley so it looks good that we went Judges Strong to the end, but she's not like a viable opponent. Like, she's just Ashley. And meanwhile, she came in like a silent little killer and was like, oh, you don't think I'm anything? Well, you would see Ashley on the feeds. It was fun to watch her these last couple of weeks because she'd be like, and then I'm going to do this. She would do cam talk and be like, you guys, I'm like, there's 6 people left in the house. I'm in like the best position in the house. Oh my God, I'm doing this. I'm working with this person. And then after she won that final part 2 of the final HOH, she was like, I'm going to win part 3. Meanwhile, Morgan is wiping Vinny's tears in his ass as he cries about losing, and she can't even celebrate winning the first part herself because it's all about him, and she's just playing into that. Ashley's like, and then I'm going to win part 3 and I'm going to cut Morgan because I need to win. And Ashley is just present and in the game. Meanwhile, those two are off on toxic, shitty Love Island, like the Love Island in hell. That's what they were a part of. They were a part of like Lucifer's Love Island, the two of them. Ugh. And Ashley stayed focused. Yes, Barnacle Vince. He is much. He is a barnacle if I've ever seen one. That man will attach himself to you. Get off of me. Go to work. And he's like, I can't, man. Oh, it's not my passion, man. Yeah, in a lot of ways, they did. They cheated themselves out of a win. As much as Vinny wants to say he beat himself at that comp, I think in the game, they cheated themselves by just focusing on each other. And it was so toxic. Like, as much as, at sometimes it was entertaining, I guess, it was like, oh my God, you two. It kept us tuned in for something to watch in these last couple weeks, but it really isolated them in the game, and it just wasn't good for their overall standing, their brain power, their emotional state going into a high pressure, final week of Big Brother. They're just always fighting and at each other's throats. And it was ridiculous. I'm so happy Ashley won, honestly. Like, Morgan did the damn thing, but I did not want to see the worst outcome for me would have been Morgan and Vince in those final 2 chairs. Ugh, no, thank you. No, thank you. This not the Morgan and Vince show. All right. Matt, thank you so much for the super chat. Matt says, did you see Julie say take it up with them when Rachel alluded to her getting screwed? But I didn't hear that. She said that. Was it when they revealed who the masterminds were? And she's like, what are my friends doing? What are my friends doing with this white locust thing? So Julie's trying to skirt all responsibility. Well, Julie doesn't know what's going on. Anyways, as the host, she really doesn't. We've seen a decline in Julie Chen and what she once was like such an important part of the show. Now it's like, we could AI Julie. I mean, I'm not saying we should. I think we should get a new host, a host that actually like watches the show and knows what's going on and doesn't give weird interviews where she's just has the worst takes in the world. But yeah, Katie Patterson, thank you so much for the super chat. Katie says they never shared Zach left with that power. I wish they had. That's true. They didn't. But I think by this point, a lot of them knew because Morgan knew, and Morgan told quite a few people. So, yes. Expect the unexpected, Julie. Are you sure Julia isn't already AI? Well, they do. She is known as Chenbot. So, I don't know. Yeah, maybe a certain host, wink, wink, hint, hint, from Canada, named Arissa Cox, possibly. or somebody, or, you know, a former Big Brother winner, maybe. Maybe Rachel Riley. She's very passionate about the game. She loves it, and she would pay attention. So there you go. Christina Coca, thank you, friend, for the super chat. She says, hi, I don't know what's happening, but I'm deep in 90210, and I love you while the horrors of the world persist. Please keep bringing this BB joy. Thank you, Christina. Christina's on her first watch of 90210, and I'm a little jelly because I watched it in real time. And to go back and be able to watch it with fresh eyes, especially the early seasons, my favorite. I won't spoil anything for you, but enjoy and keep me updated on what season you're on and what you're loving. Paul says, I wonder if T-Car was there to confront Mickey. Like, that wasn't my hat. That was clearly a Temu hat. What's wrong with you? Oh my gosh. Or Brittany Haynes. She would be a great host. Brittany would be hilarious. She would be really, really funny. I think they could just, yeah. I mean, I don't think Julie's going anywhere anytime soon. But yeah. Thank you, Debbie. Debbie says, I only discovered your show toward the end of the season, and you made it bearable and gave such a fun and hilarious perspective that I have to say thank you. You guys are so sweet. Thank you so much for the kind words. I really appreciate that. Reese G, thank you for the super chat. Says the reunion segment was so underwhelming. They didn't cover any tea, reveals, flashback, or anything. Super cookie cutter and rushed by. It always is. You're talking about when the pre-jury shows up. And there was so much talk about Jimmy and Mickey, and like, who cares? I really didn't care. I mean, if maybe it's because I kind of already pay attention to this, and Jimmy is just going live all the time, and I know that him and Mickey were literally live backstage in the dressing room before the finale. So I don't know why we spent so much time asking questions about that. I don't know. And I thought when they were asking Zach a question, I forget the question they even asked Zach, but I thought they were going to ask, they asked about, were you surprised that Vince had all these final twos since you had a final or something? And I thought for sure they were going to ask Zach about the cheat mans and his thoughts on it, because he has thoughts, because he's on live on TikTok a lot as well, talking about it. And apparently Zach also tried to bring flowers for Lauren, which Jimmy talked about in his live when they were backstage for the finale. And he was live on TikTok, but production said no, because they were going to focus on another showmance. And I just, again, I feel like I've talked this to death, so I don't want to really talk about it very much, but the Riley and Catherine thing, really, Big Brother, we're still going to go with this is like the will they, won't they, when we know what a complete shitbag he is and how he really talked to her on the feeds and how you guys he wasn't even allowed to do press postseason because you were so afraid of what he would say, allegedly. Really? We're still going to pretend that, like, yay. And then you see Morgan and Ashley, who don't know everything that we know now. They're like, oh my God, yay. And everyone's like, oh God. Oh, future Dateline episode. Like, people are like, oh, that's not good. It's like, do they not feel any sense of responsibility to actually show what's happening? I guess not. Casting needs to clean that up a little bit, like Cerise said. Clean that up a little bit. Thank you, Debbie, for the super chat. I appreciate it. But I was like, of course, they're gonna pretend that we've all been wondering no. We were hoping she was hiding out. I was hoping that her family had filed the restraining order papers, and we're like, just sign here, Kat. Thank you so much. Thank you. Samantha Z, thank you so much for the super chat. Samantha says, I was hoping it would be revealed that the Rachel removal was planned and that she was there just to stir up shit. Wouldn't that have been hilarious? Well, I thought for a minute they were going to say she was part of the Mastermind twist, but then I would be disappointed, I think, if Rachel was part of the Mastermind twist, because it would feel disingenuous to Rachel because she is that player who just loves playing Big Brother. And I don't think she would go back to just be part of a twist and pretend she was playing the game. But I don't know. Possibly. But I see what you mean. Oh, they love to prop up these toxic dudes, man. Yes, Sumaria, they do. Randy says showing them together helps limit their CBS liability if things happen. This proves it's her choice to be with him. Randy looking at it from probably the way CBS is looking at it, like trying to be the least liable for this. As we're all like, oh my God, it's like he's like a horror show, like not like a horror, but like a horror show and a horror, possibly. Okay. Michelle, thank you for producer Prince. He's been working very hard. Okay. He's pressed lots of buttons, spilled lots of water, gotten his hair everywhere, and been overall adorable. So he definitely deserves it. He'll be happy to get some catnip with that. Eddie says, can't believe Keanu won America's favorite player. Again, apparently by 65% of the vote. Holy shit. That was the only thing I will say is you could tell he was like genuinely surprised and genuinely very grateful. So that was nice. But yeah, I didn't vote for Keanu. I didn't. So, right. That was a good point that they asked the question to Kat, like, tell us you're here on your own volition. Like you chose to be here. And she's like, yes, we are in a relationship. Me and the stinky cowboy who is an asshole are dating. I went to Oklahoma to see him and I had a lot of fun. We're like, oh God. She's young. I remember my mom would tell me, don't, and I'd be like, you understand, Mom, I'm in love. And then years later I was like, you were right. And my mom's like, yeah, I know. But when you're that age, you think you know. And hopefully one day she will be free of Riley. We will all be free of Riley. Matt, thank you so much. Matt says, I'm Canadian, but I would vote Keanu. He was my number one. Apparently a lot of people voted for him. A lot of people. Lady Jane, thank you so much. Says Jolene would be a perfect host. Quick, smart. Lady Jane, you are so sweet. I don't deserve it. The patriarchy loves Keanu. They love Keanu. He loves dudes. They love dudes. Dudes and boners and dudes. And Keanu gets a boner, and then everyone says, let's vote for him now. Boner. So, yeah. 65%. You could tell, though, Rachel was disappointed. You could see it. You could see it on her. I could see it in her face. She was like, wow. Okay. Keanu, the guy who didn't listen to me? Okay. The guy who thought he knew better? Okay. I really tried. Okay. That's cool. Great. That's amazing. Fantastic. Sweet. Great. Look at them all. Look at Rachel look over like, wow. Well, I'm curious to see if maybe they're going to do some kind of, hey, doggers, hey, pupperoonies. Don't worry, we'll go for WALK soon. The dogs are like, wrap it up, Mom. We want to go to the PARK. All right. I wonder if they're going to try to get, I know Rachel's already done Amazing Race and stuff, but will they try to get her and Keanu on something for like a Frenemies 2.0? And also, what will Rachel think? I just can't wait till postseason now, because what will all these players think, especially jury members, knowing what people were really saying about them? And now that we know Brendan's been doing lots of interviews and he's well aware of like what the Avas and the Mickeys and the Kellys have said about Rachel behind her back and mentioning like her children. Oh, it's going to be a good postseason, you guys. Very good postseason. Jess, thank you for the super chat. Jess says, Ashley win saving this wild season. Really, it did. Thanks for the great coverage, Jolene. I look forward to my BB YouTube content more than the show. LOL. Love from Kansas. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Jess. Very kind of you. Yeah, I thought his statement was really nice. It was really nice. I don't think Keanu is a bad guy. Do I think Keanu's a product of the patriarchy? Yeah. Do I think Keanu favors and respects men more in their opinion and what they think? Yeah, I do. Yeah, because I watched him for all these days and I watched him do that. Do I think he's cognizant of it? I don't know. Do I think if it was brought up to him, he would correct it? Probably, hopefully. In the future, consider listening to women and working with them, and you might get farther because Vince kept burning you. Riley hated you. Zach didn't like you. Clearly, Jimmy. I mean, it just maybe listen to the ladies, but it's over. Whatever. We can't do anything now. Maybe in the future. Keanu's red-pilled. He might be a little bit. We got to check his podcast history and see what he's listening to. Okay. Just remember, vaginas are your friends. Okay. The uterus should be celebrated, as should what lives above the uterus, our brains. Okay. I'm going to be covering Amazing Race. I got to do a roast of the first episode still. So yeah, smash that like if you haven't already, you guys. We've been 1,300 strong. Thank you so much for just being here. And, this season, covering the show every summer, it's always, whoa. You get excited, and then there's a point when you're like, this has to be over now. All right. But the joy of for me to keep doing it is because all of you show up, and the community that develops, and the live chats, and you guys are all beautiful pumpkin spice babies, and you're hilarious and fun. And again, I wouldn't be able to do any of this unless you showed up every live, every video. I would just be talking to no one, which would be kind of weird. My husband might be like, what, are you okay? I'd be like, someone's going to show up eventually. And that's kind of how it was in the beginning. And all these years later, from starting out covering BB20 to now BB27, we're here. And we're on our way to 50,000 subscribers, which is insane to me, you guys. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. This was such a fun season to cover, even when it wasn't a fun season, because of you guys. All right. And thank you for understanding my sense of humor and my neurodivergent brain, and allowing yourself to listen to an extremely opinionated woman who some call a feminazi, which happens in the chat sometimes. Some people just pop in and say, you're a feminazi, bye. And then I say, have a good day. Good to see ya. I prefer, feminist killjoy, but whatever you want to say. But the fun doesn't stop here, you guys. Tons of content coming your way in the upcoming weeks, months, hopefully years, unless they, decide we can't be funny or have comedy in the United States of America anymore. Then find me on Patreon. Okay. I'll put some stuff over there. But for now, we're doing okay. We're on the YouTube. And like I said, we have the Amazing Race, Bravo content, pop culture, other things that strike my dopamine fancy. You never know what you're going to get. Thank you, buddy. My favorite moment was you cracking up to that song made me laugh. I know it was probably AI generated, and that is very evil because it's going to take all of our jobs one day, but it was kind of funny. And there were certain parts that had me dying. So thank you for sharing that with me, you guys. And I'll be back very soon, obviously, for some post-season BB. Now it's off to stalk their social media to see what's really going down, and also, some of the interviews coming up. So thanks a lot, you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. Shout out to all my super chatters today. There were so many of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Don't forget to smash that like on your way out. Again, leave a comment after the video post. I know I don't get to highlight all of your comments in the live chat, so I love to hear from you guys and hear what you think of the show and life in general. So, please do that. Have a wonderful evening wherever you are in the world. You guys take care of yourselves. And like I always say, enjoy yourself, you guys, because it's later than you think. Bye, everybody. Goodbye to the Big Brother Breakdown with Jolene. Bye, bye, Big Brother Breakdown with Jolene. That's me.
If you like what you see.